Tonight, playground predator sentenced. A man handed his fate over a sickening attack on a 10-year-old girl in a Blair Athol toilet block, but he could be free within 2 years. Magistrate Robert Harrop fronts court on deception charges. New South Wales closes itself off from Victoria to halt the outbreak spread, leaving our Premier also contemplating a hard border. And home from the Hard Port and the Crows return to Adelaide.
This is 10 News First Adelaide with Rebecca Morse.
Good evening. A man who sexually assaulted a 10-year-old girl in a Blair Athol toilet block could be free from jail in less than 2 years. Hamzi Barami's sentence was discounted after he admitted his guilt, but the Director of Public Prosecutions is considering an appeal.
A defenceless 10-year-old girl recounts the moment a predator honed in. This police interview released by the court today, we've altered the voice to conceal her identity.
He was like, "Do you know where the bathroom is?" And I said, "Yeah, it's over there." And he said, "Will you take me there?"
Pedophile 33-year-old Hamza Barami preyed on her at a Blair Athol playground in April last year.
We went like a little closer and I was like, I don't want to go any farther because and then he was like, "Come on, let's go."
The despicable assaults were also witnessed by his young child and niece who peered under the cubicle door. 8 minutes later, CCTV shows his victim fleeing, Barami close behind. DNA led detectives to Barami, who, when arrested, told officers the victim was lying. The judge said his offending was abhorrent in the extreme. That you are unable to explain your behaviour is of great concern to me. Despite a psychiatric report finding he's unlikely to reoffend, the judge said, "I have great difficulty accepting that." Barami was sentenced to 4 years and 9 months, although he'll be eligible for release in less than 2 years. He received a 40% discount for his early guilty pleas and small reduction for the time he's likely to spend in protective custody. He's already been bashed in the watch house cells by bikie Bradley Daniele. The DPP will consider appealing the sentence. Caroline O'Day for 10 News First.
An Adelaide magistrate is accused of conspiring with others to avoid losing his licence and to abuse his position of power. A police prosecutor and lawyer are among 3 women who are accused of joining him in the alleged deceptions.
Ordinarily in court as an officer of the law, Magistrate Robert Harrop arrived this morning to face allegations he broke the law.
How are you going to answer the charges?
The 61-year-old appeared in the Adelaide Magistrates Court today before a specially appointed judge. Court documents allege Harrop and co-accused Police Prosecutor Abigail Foulkes deceived the Court Administration Authority by misrepresenting who was driving the magistrate's government vehicle when it was detected committing traffic offences in March so as to avoid him facing licence disqualification. Harrop's accused of similar deception with another woman who can't be identified, and it's alleged he conspired with lawyer Catherine Morse to improperly exercise his power in a matter in his court in May. Morse appeared alongside him in court today.
What do prosecutors allege your involvement was?
48-year-old Abigail Foulkes and another woman whose identity has been suppressed have also been charged with deception, but they weren't required to face court today.
SAPOL responded to the allegations against Foulkes, saying SAPOL can confirm a current serving police officer has today appeared in court on criminal charges that were not laid by SAPOL. That police officer has been placed on restricted administrative duties. The charges were laid last week following an investigation by the Independent Commission Against Corruption. The matter will return to court later this month. Kate Summers for 10 News First.
New South Wales is about to close its border with Victoria as that state battles a worsening COVID spike. The Defence Force called in to help police patrol the hundreds of kilometres of land between the two.
The Victoria-New South Wales border today flowing freely. Come 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, it will close.
We wouldn't have taken this step unless we absolutely had to. We needed to get ahead of the potential spread.
With COVID numbers rising again in Melbourne, 400 police and the Defence Force will be used to keep Victorians out.
We agreed that this is the best thing to do at this time.
If you're thinking of going to Victoria in the next 24, 48 hours, a strong suggestion is don't.
A shock for travellers getting off planes from Melbourne today.
To me, it feels almost surreal.
I guess it kind of had to happen because all the cases were rising again in Victoria.
I was at the airport when they made the announcement.
And what did you think when you heard that?
Lucky I'm flying back today. I might have been stuck in Victoria for a few weeks or months, however long it goes for.
As yet, there is no end date, and policing the border will not be easy, with 55 different places to cross.
You know, someone could choose to swim across the river, walk through the bush. There are dirt tracks. We'll be using drones and other aerial surveillance at the same time.
A permit system similar to that used on the Queensland border will be online by tomorrow, with exemptions available for medical visits, getting to work or school, and truckies hauling freight. But it will take up to 3 days for the system to kick in, leaving communities like Albury-Wodonga split down the middle.
You know, half of Wodonga works in Albury and half of Albury works in Wodonga. We see more than 50,000, you can hear it now, 50,000 car movements between our cities every single day.
Early this morning, the local federal MP had warned against closures.
But that would be a big mistake. It would devastate our regional economy.
She was told it was happening moments before a morning news conference.
It's not the time now to be critical or say that things weren't done as well as they could have.
Restrictions already in place mean New South Wales residents returning from Melbourne's COVID-19 hotspots have to spend 2 weeks in isolation. From midnight tonight, that rule will apply to anyone who's visited all of Greater Melbourne. And from midnight tomorrow, anyone returning from the entire state of Victoria will have to self-quarantine. Interstate XPT train services are expected to continue in some form, along with coaches and flights between Melbourne and Sydney. They will likely have a reduced number of services, though, with a focus on bringing New South Wales residents home. And there will be strict checks in place. The Premier has previously criticised other border closures.
I think it's crazy. We are one nation.
But with 127 new cases in Victoria today, and the overnight death of 2 men, the situation to our south, she says, is unprecedented.
And this is the first time where you've had major community transmission not based on overseas travel.
Closing one border so others can reopen.
I do ask all the other states, with the exception of Victoria, to open their borders to New South Wales.
Daniel Sutton for 10 News First.
And the South Australian Government will decide tomorrow if Victoria's border closure could allow the lifting of restrictions between here, the New South Wales and the ACT. The opposition says it may still not be worth the risk.
260 police officers are stationed between South Australia and Victoria, and the Premier's open to even tighter security.
That there is a very concerning situation in Victoria, and whilst we wish them all the very best, our primary responsibility is to protect the health, safety and welfare of all South Australians.
Since scrapping the original July 20 date to open all our borders, the state government has been reluctant to move because of Victoria's open border with New South Wales. But now, with that access about to be cut off, it's changed the dynamics again.
We need to make sure that there hasn't been a rush into New South Wales from Victoria today, but we'll be looking at it very, very carefully.
The Police Commissioner and SA Health will reassess the risk of lifting state border restrictions for New South Wales and the ACT in a meeting of the Transition Committee tomorrow. The opposition's unconvinced.
It seems to be an enormous risk for a benefit that no one can really quantify. I mean, trucks are still making their way across the borders. We're still trading with the other states. There doesn't really seem to be an economic imperative.
A new report by Deloitte Access Economics says the South Australian economy will suffer less pain than the average state from the shutdown of international borders. It's also helped that half our working population is in the public sector or essential services, but it still forecasts grim unemployment for this financial year, jumping to 9.3%. Chloe Boris for 10 News First.
A Port Noarlunga barber has told of his shock at being targeted in an overnight arson attack. He only opened his shop 3 days ago.
A deliberately lit blaze that's devastated a southern suburbs community.
bad. This is what we don't need. Nobody needs this sort of crap, you know, anywhere, living anywhere.
Fire crews rushed to the lowrider barber shop on Gawler Street around 4 o'clock this morning. Police say an accelerant was used. The owner of the store, a single father of 3, who relies on the business to support his young family.
Me cutting hair puts food on the table and pays the bills. And if, I can't do that, then what is there? So I need to get it back up and running.
The business had only been open for 3 days. Matthew closed his barber shop in Lonsdale a few weeks ago because of slow sales there and put everything into his new store.
Started building this one straight away, so no income at all, and just and having trades volunteer their time to help me get up and going.
4 other shops in the same strip also are counting the costs, extensive smoke damage ruining stock.
It's not good. Oh, we're just thinking of all the food we're going to waste, and with all this corona, people down and out on their arse, and now we're down and out on our arse again.
We were trying to get back on our feet, and now recently this is the thing, and it will set us back.
The victim says he has no idea why his shop was targeted, but plans to start over as soon as he can. Investigations are continuing. Tiffany Warren for 10 News First.
Max Burford has your look ahead to sport. You've got more on that Crows camp that's just not going away.
Hello, Rebecca. Yeah, Riley O'Brien has had his say and he's confident every current Crow is over it and focused on the job at hand. They're back in town. We'll have more on that later in sport. Plus, the F1 season starts with a bang, crash and pretty much everything in between. Past Man City. It's all coming up later in sport, Beck.
Catch you later on. Thank you, Max. Still to come, calls for lockdowns as US hospitals are overwhelmed by COVID patients. Books banned, Beijing's latest move to stamp out pro-democracy figures. And later, a food contamination scare at Golden Grove Shopping Centre. We'll cross live for the latest.
You are the top 5 for 2020.
Never in the history of MasterChef has there been such a close race to the finals.
What do you have to do to win this thing?
That the Hunger Games begin?
Absolutely magical.
I freaking loved it.
That blew my mind.
The bar is extremely high at this point of the game. That was some seriously good cooking.
The race to the finals begins tonight.
If these fresh, marinated chicken roasting pieces were any more convenient, we'd have to come to your house and roast them for you. Which would be weird. Or would it? Now just $4.99 a kilo. Aldi. Good, different.
I had one of my apprentices tell me, you know, you can regrow your hair these days. I didn't sack him. Cheeky.
Reached your turning point? The doctors at Ashley and Martin could help regrow your hair.
At APR, we're all about possibilities. So however you live, our flexible home insurance lets you pay by the month at no extra cost. APR, get set, go. Call 13 50 50.
Want to sell something for instant cash? We're open. Looking to buy from a huge range of quality second-hand goods for less? We're open. Cash Converters. Find us online or visit us in store.
The choice you make for your comfort today will impact your children's climate tomorrow. By choosing A for Air, the carbon footprint of your air conditioning system is offset for the first 10 years. Choose A for Air for your comfort.
When you want to get out, dive in and reunite in a place you'll always remember. Start planning your escape now. Go to brillianttravels.com.au and register to win one of 4 Dream Island holidays. Sounds like a brilliant idea.
Dynamic Home Enhancements end of financial year clearance must end soon. Get your roller shutters installed free from one of Australia's largest roller shutter manufacturers. It's your last chance to save hundreds on your roller shutters and get free installation. Plus get no deposit, interest-free finance and save even more with your seniors discount. Hurry, final days. Call Dynamic Home Enhancements now.
Dynamic Home Enhancements.
As the rest of Australia does, I have a bit of a crush on Kieran. He's hot, and he's such a naughty boy. I just want Kieran.
Hi Abby, I brought you some grapes.
Oh. I'm from Matt's season of The Bachelor.
I'm a astrophysicist.
Okay, I'm a Gemini. He and I are really compatible.
She definitely came in here knowing what she wanted, and Abby generally gets what she wants.
Bachelor in Paradise on 10. It all starts Wednesday, July 15.
Tonight, borders close as community transmissions rise in Victoria. Does the entire state need to go back into lockdown?
Inside the housing tower COVID controversy, are vulnerable residents being sacrificed?
And working from home has driven more women to ditch their bras and opt for comfort. And that's one thing that isn't restricted by COVID. I mean, sorry, two things. It's not.
All that and more coming up at 6:30.
Books by pro-democracy authors are now being removed from Hong Kong's public libraries less than a week after Beijing introduced a draconian new national security law. Authorities announced 9 books by prominent activists were under review and no longer available to the public, while Hong Kong's Education Bureau has ordered schools to teach children to obey the new laws. The mayors of 2 cities in Texas say they will shortly run out of hospital beds if drastic action isn't taken to slow down the COVID outbreak. Statewide, more than 8,000 people have been hospitalised. In Austin and Houston, medical facilities are on the verge of being overwhelmed.
And what's most disturbing is that the positivity rate has increased. So a month ago, 1 in 10 tested positive. Today, we're looking at almost like 1 in 4.
Meanwhile, US Broadway star Nick Cordero has died after more than 3 months battling coronavirus. The 41-year-old, who had no known pre-existing conditions, was hospitalised in late March. Britain's former chief scientific advisor has predicted there'll be almost 30,000 more COVID deaths if the UK continues to reopen at the same pace. The warning delivered on the 72nd anniversary of the National Health Service.
After a horror 5 months, this was a birthday party to remember. World War II era Spitfires flew over hospitals on the front lines of the corona battle. On the ground, a grateful nation cheered on from their homes and in their newly reopened stadiums with a simple message of thanks. Prime Minister Boris Johnson passed on his gratitude in person to the intensive care workers who saved his life in April, while Prince William and Catherine, who have been among the most visible of public figures during the pandemic, met with staff and volunteers at a hospital named after the Queen.
I just want to say that it is you who have been our shield. It is your hands that have held us up.
But amid the birthday celebrations is concern. All that sacrifice could be undone as the government pushes ahead in reopening Britain's battered economy.
If we want to return to full economic growth as quickly as possible, get rid of the COVID virus.
The UK's former chief scientific advisor, Sir David King, predicts 27,000 more people will die before next April under the current approach.
This is an almost entirely preventable and absolutely unacceptable. It's immoral.
Spain could be a testing ground. 2 separate outbreaks have forced almost 300,000 people back to the dark days of lockdown. Another reminder that victory remains a long way off. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First, London.
Here's one for all of us with a 4-legged friend, Kate Freeban. It is that time of year again.
Beck, it is going to be a lovely week for taking the dog for a walk nice and dry. But before you do that, it is that time of year again where if you have a dog or even a cat, you need to make sure it's registered. But now it's easier than ever. Rather than dealing with your local council, you can now log in online to Dogs and Cats Online, and you can do it all in just a few clicks. The letters went out to pet owners last week, and in the first 24 hours, a record 26,000 pet registrations were renewed. If you didn't get a letter, it means that your pet might not be registered. It's mandatory for all dogs and cats in South Australia, and that came in 2 years ago. It means if they go missing, you are much more likely to find them. And to find out more, you can go to dogsandcatsonline.com.au. Well, here's some fun facts about our four-legged friends. The most popular dog's name in South Australia is now Bella, closely followed by Charlie and then Molly. When it comes to cats, our favourite name is Luna, then Bella pops up again and so does Charlie. And it looks like a lot of people were a little bit stuck for ideas. Coming in at number 5 there is the name Kitten. And it turns out, Beck, your dog, my cat, we didn't make the cut. Henley and Lulu, not in the top 10.
Named it after the suburb you're in. Thank you, Kate. Up next, why a growing number of experts say now's not the time to buy a house despite dropping prices. Why cyber spy experts say the TikTok craze is a ticking security time bomb. And later, an explosive mix, a warning to emergency responders of the hidden danger in electric vehicles.
In these trying times, we need some wise words.
Hey, let's join together because we're all in this together. I salute you, Australia. Is someone going to cut me off? Because I'll just keep on going.
So join Glenn, Anne and Hayley with Ed and Sam for some more wise words tonight.
Do you ever need a bit of help throughout the day when you're suffering from cold and flu? Find relief with Codral Day and Night at Terry White Chemmart. With its powerful formula that provides fast relief, Codral Day and Night is an Australian-made multi-symptom treatment with non-drowsy day tablets and night tablets that allow a restful night's sleep. Right now at Terry White Chemmart, Codral Day and Night 24 tablets are just $9.99. Codral Day and Night and Terry White Chemmart. Now that's real chemistry.
Are you waking up to those sad puppy eyes every day? Get tails wagging by registering for Paugust and take your dog for a daily walk. It's vital to their health and happiness. Us humans can benefit too. This August, make a commitment to walk 30 minutes a day and help raise money for guide dog pups in training. Take the lead and sign up today. Text PAW to 0419 224 445 to register and we'll send you a Pawdometer so you can record your dog's steps this August.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, the Honda HR-V will keep you connected, entertained and on track. With Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, now as standard across the range. The Honda HR-V, as different as the people who drive it.
This is how we move it.
Relax, let go of your worries with a perfect stress-free move guaranteed only with Complete Removals. Call now or visit CompleteRemovals.com.au.
This is how we move it.
The Hospital Research Home Lottery has sold out early once again. Thank you, South Australia, for your incredible support. On July 29th, there will be 13,000 winners, and 2 of them will be instant millionaires. Proceeds from our home lottery improve the lives of every South Australian. At the Hospital Research Foundation, we believe everyone deserves someone fighting for their health. And with your ticket purchase, you fight with us. Best of luck to everyone in the draws.
The huge Glimpse Oz Selection Centre Jeps Cross has so much on display for your home, homeowner, DIY or trade. You must check this out. One location just down from Jeps Cross Corner. Let Glimpse Oz turn your house into a home.
You can have control here, but can you control the entertainment here? With rain-sensing smart technology and full remote, the control is in your hands with Louver House. Our free LED lighting offer is on now, so contact Louver House today.
Colossal Mascara from Maybelline, New York. Lashes go 100% colossal instantly. Colossal Collagen Mega Brush. 100% colossal volume, nothing less. No one does mascara like Maybelline, New York.
From our family to yours.
Thank you. By supporting SA businesses, you're supporting SA families like ours.
Support local brands and produce by shopping for them at Drake's, your South Aussie family-owned supermarket.
Thanks for your support.
Oh my God.
He's naked. Oh, Abby, I brought you some grapes.
Bachelor in Paradise starts July 15.
He was the king of the mountain.
He could do no wrong. He was the messiah of motorsport.
Now a new Peter Brock tell-all takes a no-holds-barred look at his life.
Some of his dark sides as well.
He so desperately wanted to be famous. But what does his family have to say about it? Setting the record straight tomorrow on Studio 10.
For the last few months, the property world has been a bit weird. Many buyers and sellers have been holding off with so much uncertainty and concerns about what might happen come September when JobKeeper ends. Comparison site Finder polled economists and real estate experts and found that just over a third think that now is a good time to buy. 30% believe potential buyers should just wait and see, while 35% are truly on the fence, unsure what to do in this climate. This same group were also asked for their predictions about property prices. Overall, they think apartment values will be hit the hardest. They might fall between 7 and 8% by the end of September. House prices, they don't think will go down as much, but still a drop of 5%. Tomorrow, the Reserve Bank will make its monthly interest rate decision. The consensus is that it will hold at 0.25%, that record low level. Now let's take a look at the markets. As COVID fears and case numbers increase in Australia, the share market decreased. It struggled for direction all day, but at the close, the benchmark was down 0.7%. Tech was the only sector ending in the green. One of the best performers today was a company called Mesoblast. It's a biotech company. It ended up about 11% after telling investors it had been given the green light in the US to provide its COVID-19 product to children. Taking a look at the dollar now, it's buying 69.7 US cents, and currency traders will be closely watching the RBA's decision tomorrow.
Video app TikTok has taken off globally, and there are more than 1.5 million users here in Australia. But there's now talk of banning the Chinese-owned platform, with fears it's spying on its users.
It's known for lip syncs and dance challenges. But now TikTok is being called out as a potential risk to our national security. Cyber experts have raised concerns the Chinese-owned app is mining the data of its 1.6 million Australian users and could be passing on personal information to authorities in Beijing.
It gets things like where you're based, what your email is, what your username is. The big kind of uncertainty at this point is on whether there's other stuff being captured which is not necessarily made completely explicit to the user.
With well over 500 million users, TikTok is the fastest growing social media platform in the world, but it's attracting criticism just as quickly. India has already banned the app, blaming security concerns. Back home, there are plans to haul the company before a Senate inquiry into foreign interference through social media.
Experts are telling us that there are questions for TikTok to answer about the way that it uses the data that is provided to it by its users.
Of particular concern is the app's appeal to children. A third of Australian TikTok users are aged between 13 and 17, sparking fears young people are giving away their data without understanding the risks.
I mean, I don't really care because, there's nothing really that important that I care if someone finds out about me.
I don't think there's much personal data that would be used against me, I guess.
People need to be very cautious about the data that they're providing online for the TikTok app or anything else. I'd say to young Australians, have a close look at the terms and conditions.
Late today, TikTok sent us this.
TikTok would never share any user information with any foreign government, including the Chinese government. We've just announced a transparency centre, which is designed to let everyone from policymakers through to users understand exactly what we're doing at TikTok.
But with so many people accessing the app every day, the damage may already have been done. Amber Caneen for 10 News First.
Pins and needles found inside supermarket staples at a popular shopping centre spark another contamination scare. We'll cross live with the latest next. Plus, why a loving lick from your cat could land you in hospital. And Geelong superstar Gary Ablett reveals his family's private pain over his young son's health battle.
Never in the history of MasterChef has there been such a close race to the finals.
What do you have to do to win this thing?
I freaking loved it.
Absolutely magical. That blew my mind.
that was seriously good cooking.
The race to the finals begins tonight.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy their choice of delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort and safety of their home. And now, Light and Easy is also giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000. If you or someone close to you could benefit from improved health and financial well-being, visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
Shaggy and Scooby were taken?
Yeah.
Their greatest mystery begins.
Adventure's calling, and it's for you.
Hello, Adventure. Yes, will you take my name and number off your list?
Scoob.
At Rest, we're making super simpler. With just one click, our Super Simple app makes it a whole lot easier for you to manage your money. It's part of our commitment to you.
Thinking bikes? We have a huge range of road, mountain, electric and recreational bikes. They're all at Bicycle Express. Tour Bicycle Express at 124 Halifax Street, Adelaide and 138 The Parade, Norwood.
At Weeks, we've been building the Australian dream for over 30 years. Building homes that help families make memories that will last a lifetime. Talk to us today and we promise you'll get more with Weeks.
Glenelg Air are the experts in quality designs of energy-efficient air conditioning systems for new and existing homes. For sales, design, service and repairs. Call our specialist team today. Glenelg Air.
Damazin! For when the kids are sneezing. Everyone is sickly. And you've got where to go to. But you have got the answer. So head into the bathroom. Get to Damazin.
When cold and flu strikes, Damazin gets it done.
The MS Game Changer Lottery is your chance to get a millionaire makeover your way. Will you build a home fit for a millionaire? Or pick the cash for a cool million in the bank? Get your tickets now.
Everybody loves their country.
Oh, I do love the views at Port Noarlunga.
But how about that view from Roslyn Park?
I always look forward to heading to Mawson Lakes.
Country Blinds, 30 years of making them right here and taking them just about everywhere. Country Blinds, custom-made curtains, indoor blinds, outdoor blinds and plantation shutters, and 9 mobile selection vehicles to bring it all to you. Call for a free in-home measure and quote.
Everybody loves their country.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort and safety of their home. We're also giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000. Find out how. Visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
It's a feeling I haven't ever felt with someone before.
I'm falling in love with you more and more every single day.
This is Adelaide's 10 News First. Tonight's headlines. Harrowing police interviews released of a frightened 10-year-old girl recounting how she was lured to a sickening attack in a Blair Apple toilet block. South Australian Magistrate Robert Harrop on the other side of the dock, facing deception charges. And the Premier considering a hard border with Victoria following New South Wales' decision to close its gateway. Melbourne today experienced its worst rise in cases since the pandemic began. Police are investigating 3 reports of food contamination at a northern suburbs supermarket in the past week. Cam Inglis joins us from Golden Grove. Cam, what was found?
Well, Beck, police have just revealed between the 27th of June and the 1st of July there's been 3 cases of food contamination here at the Woolworths inside the Golden Grove shopping centre. Now, one customer found a metal pin hidden inside a punnet of strawberries, while another found a metal pin hidden inside an avocado. A third finding metal thumbtacks littered through a loaf of bread. Now, police are treating the matter as deliberate and are taking it very seriously. They've launched an investigation with Woolworths staff, and those staff have already started to open boxes boxes linked to the contaminated stock, but so far they have no major safety concerns. Now, police, as I said, taking it very, very seriously, but it's not known if any other people have purchased any contaminated goods. We spoke to customers earlier who were shocked to hear the news, and they say that they're going through their items with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah, it's concerning, of course. You don't want to think about something wrong with the food.
I think it's pretty rude, actually. It's terrible. What do they want to prove? I mean, why?
Oh, lock them up. Lock them up, particularly at this time. Isn't there enough fear out there in the world?
Now, police are urging anyone with any information to come forward.
Thank you, Cam. Protesters are rallying right now on the steps of Parliament House against a new police unit. South Australia Police last week unveiled its new security response section with 50 specially trained officers to prevent and respond to terrorism and patrol large events. Protest organisers say the heavily armed unit should be disbanded given the global movement against police brutality. A Melbourne grandmother has died after her pet gave her cat scratch fever. Cat owners are tonight being warned about the deadly disease that can be contracted through a simple scratch or saliva.
They're cute and cuddly, but not always nice. Now, a warning, a scratch or a lick can sometimes spread lethal bacterial infections.
Cats do carry a lot of pathogens and bugs in their mouths and on their claws.
It comes after a Melbourne grandmother died after spending 9 days in a coma at Box Hill Hospital. The 80-year-old became critically ill after her cat Minty scratched and then licked her wound.
So Bartonella is carried on cat nails and their coats. It's actually transmitted via flea feces, so the poo of fleas.
Experts say one person a week presents to hospital because of cat scratch disease.
We realise that this is a very serious incident, but we do encourage people to practice good hygiene.
Seek medical advice, particularly if you're, immunocompromised, so if you're elderly or you're very young.
Animal shelter staff hope this latest incident doesn't discourage people from wanting to adopt. There are currently hundreds of cats and kittens, just like Tulip, ready to find their new family.
Cats have got huge personalities, which makes them a very attractive part of your family.
40% of cats will carry the bacteria at some stage in their lives. Christina Costalis for 10 News First.
Adelaide is set to become a training hub for thousands of cybersecurity professionals. The Australian Cyber Collaboration Centre was set up thanks to a $10 million state government grant. It will bring together Australian and global experts to work on preventing cyber attacks.
We'll be able to work with that company and identify the kind of issues that they're facing, look at the threat environment, look at the kind of things that they can do practically with limited resources they will have and put them in place into their networks and give them advice.
The not-for-profit centre will offer businesses membership ranging from $400 to $40,000. Adelaide City Councillor Robert Sims has confirmed he'll seek to replace long-serving Greens state leader Mark Parnell, who's retiring at the next election. Sims was briefly the state's second Green senator in Canberra but lost his seat in 2016. Several other candidates have also nominated to replace Parnell, who entered Parliament in 2006. With the sale of electric and hybrid cars soaring in Australia in recent years, so too has the danger they pose to frontline responders. Authorities say when a car catches fire after a crash, the explosion can be disastrous when there's electricity involved.
While firefighters are no strangers to flames, electrical cars are adding fuel to the fire.
These battery sources hold a lot of energy, so they are potentially very dangerous.
Dangerous and growing. The sale of electric and hybrid cars has doubled in the past year, with 20,000 of these vehicles bought in the last 12 months.
As we all know, water and electricity don't mix. Typically in the past, a firefighter would turn up to a vehicle fire and put water on it.
After years of lobbying the government to help first responders know what they're dealing with, new laws are now in place.
The minutes that firefighters have got to make an extrication of someone who's been critically injured in the car is reduced, because time equals lives in this business.
Almost 50,000 hybrid or electric car owners have been sent these safety stickers that they must place on both front and rear number plates. It's in this scenario that firefighters and police officers have just minutes to save lives, including their own. Now drivers and car manufacturers have a role to play. If it is an electric or hybrid car, they are obliged to display a sticker or risk being fined. Antoinette Latouf for 10 News First.
After clocking up a milestone 350th AFL game, Geelong superstar Gary Ablett has opened up about two very personal health battles. In a lengthy Instagram post, Ablett Jr. revealed his son Levi was recently diagnosed with a rare and degenerative disease, while his wife's mother has been fighting cancer. He didn't disclose the 18-month-old's condition and is expected to remain in an AFL hub in Sydney while his family stays in Melbourne. Max Burford is back. Now, another Crow's given his thoughts on that Gold Coast camp.
Hello, Beck. Yeah, Riley O'Brien's the latest. He says his group wasn't all that bad and he's moved past it, but the Premier, he hasn't ruled out a Safe Work SA investigation. More after the break. Plus, the Vics head north. Players hit the beach in Sydney as the AFL season pushes on away from Melbourne. And Daniel Ricciardo's final season with Renault starts horribly at a chaotic Austrian Grand Prix.
Victoria cut off from other states as COVID cases surge. More next.
As the rest of Australia does, I have a bit of a crush on Kieran. He's hot and he's such a naughty boy. I just want Kieran.
Hi, Abby, I brought you some grapes.
He and I are really compatible.
She definitely came in here knowing what she wanted, and Abby generally gets what she wants.
Bachelor in Paradise starts Wednesday, July 15.
Get a great home entertainment deal now at Harvey Norman. Save $140 on this Hisense 65-inch 4K smart TV. Now just $1,255. Save $400 on this LG 75-inch NanoCell 4K smart TV. Plus, get bonus delivery and wall mount installation. Add the big soundbar with this Klipsch Bar 40 soundbar, only $575. Hurry, limited time only. More great home entertainment deals in store and online now at Harvey Norman.
Go!
Can you guess why I picked it?
We all pick things with our heart, but when it comes to car insurance, it pays to pick with your head. If you're 25 or over, we'll beat any comparable comprehensive renewal notice. Plus, save up to 15% when you buy online. And as a Woolworths car insurance customer, get 10% off your grocery shop once a month. So get a quote online and switch today.
That's why I picked Woolies car insurance.
We are local, we are family, we have missed you, and we are back. We are Wallace Cinemas, Piccadilly, Mitcham, Mount Barker, Noarlunga, Mainline Drive-In, Mildura. For what's on and sessions, visit wallace.com.au.
Olay was put to the ultimate MRI test. The MRI proved Olay intensely hydrates your skin for a plumper, firmer and more radiant glow. See the results in 28 days. Olay.
Dreaming of the finer things, South Australia? The MS Game Changer Lottery is your chance to get a millionaire makeover. And we've got 2 to give away. Yes, 2 lucky grand prize winners will become instant millionaires their way. So, will you choose the Metricon Home and Land package and build a home fit for a millionaire? Or pick the cash for a cool million in the bank? It's up to you. There's more. Give your next holiday a makeover with our new Super Early Bird prize. A trip for 2 around the world, flying business class, of course. Or take home $25,000 in cash. And our Early Bird winner, they'll drive away in a brand new BMW Z4. Every ticket sold helps us make a life-changing difference for South Australians living with multiple sclerosis. So go on, with the best odds in the state to win big, which millionaire makeover would you choose? Get your tickets at msgamechanger.com.au.
Experience the delicious intensity of Lindt excellence. By the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Get delivery like a G. See, hungry dogs gotta eat. I get mines every day, every week. Chicken wings to the crib. I'm sitting in MENULOG. Somebody say, menu love.
Welcome back. Riley O'Brien says the Crows have moved on from their now infamous Gold Coast camp. The ruckman thinks there are no lingering side effects, but the state government hasn't ruled out a Safe Work SA investigation.
Under a full moon, the Crows touched down in Adelaide after more than 2 weeks of living in a Queensland hub. They arrived home to new details about their controversial Gold Coast trip in 2018.
Sort of just glance over those stories, but it's interesting it's still hanging around. But we've obviously got a new coach, new footy department, a lot of new players. I feel like we've moved on well and truly from that.
Riley O'Brien was on the camp and says he didn't cop the same treatment as some teammates who were reportedly abused while being tied to trees.
I was in the sort of the middle tier camp, and our camp didn't really have any of that. We just sort of had a lot of more just talking to each other, nothing too strange at all.
Still, the Premier wasn't so convinced everything was above board when asked if he'd support a Safe Work SA investigation today.
Look, let me just check whether they are subject to that legislation. But I think it would be an interesting thing to explore. I must say the reports regarding that training camp are quite disturbing.
Winless after 5 rounds, the loss to the Dockers hurt more than most.
A lot of our skill execution and our finishing in front of goals probably cost us in the end, and felt like we probably could have won the game, but disappointingly, we ended up losing. So that one really stung.
Tyson Stengel was ready to boost the club's misfiring forward line, having served his 4-match suspension for drink driving.
A big chance to come back in. He's been playing really well in the scratch matches, and he's been training really hard and he's in really good shape. So I can't see why not.
He'll be available to play West Coast. Saturday sure to be busy for the Crows, who'll fly to Queensland hours before the game.
If flying up potentially the same day is probably not ideal, but I think we'll be fine.
Jace Kemp with 10 News First.
Victorian clubs have started to settle in their new homes across the country, with the last of the teams jetting out today. For some, the logistical dramas didn't end when they left Melbourne.
The Coogee Hawks and the Manly Melbourne Demons. Even with a pair of losses and a hobbled hawk or two between them, the wash-up from Sunday's matches doesn't seem as bad in the wake of the Sydney surf. Footy's officially moved out, and in New South Wales, the hub house warming also extends to the Pies at Darling Harbour, to the Gold Coast at Wollongong.
We welcome the Gold Coast Suns. That's the SUNS. To the Gong.
While Sydney siders can still go out and sip a latte, the restrictions are stricter for the next 14 days for those based in Queensland.
Yeah, and we've really spoken about making sure that we have the conversations. If there's things that are frustrating us, or you need to talk, let's talk about it, and we'll do our best to help that person or the family and get it done.
Still, the Saints are looking more at what they can do than can't.
To have our team meetings and get around the players and have a good chat to them too individually will be really important as well.
So the clubs have made it to their homes away from home. Now they've got to get their houses in order. Today, officials were working through where the teams will train, where they'll go to the gym, and even how they'll get to games when round 6 rolls around in 3 days' time.
We've got a little bit of information, but they're going to get back to us about whether it's both of those grounds or just the Noosa ground. So we're just playing it by ear at the moment. The AFL will get back to us.
Day 1 down as the AFL's Beach Bash gets underway. Tim Morgan for 10 News First.
Basher Hooley and Shane Edwards didn't travel with the Tigers for family reasons, but captain Trent Cotchin has told critics to mind their own business.
Mind their own business, I reckon. Yeah, simple as that. Everyone's situation is different. No one should need to explain themselves.
Big forward Tom Lynch is making the mad dash to Queensland tonight after hand surgery this afternoon. Matt Rowell has travelled with the Suns to Wollongong, but he might not be there for long. Scans have confirmed damage to his shoulder, but the club is still weighing up whether to have surgery now or later.
What we'll do now is just take a little bit of time to assess those options, assess the views, and have a good chat about it. We don't feel like we need to rush the decision. We understand that there's a high level of interest in it, but we also want to make sure that we make the right decision for Matt.
The Rising Star favourite injured his shoulder in the first term of the Suns' loss to Geelong. Car troubles have once again cost Daniel Ricciardo. The Aussie retired early in the first race of the revamped Formula One season. Almost half the field failed to finish, with Valtteri Bottas taking the checkered flag.
Before the lights went out, drivers came together on the grid to show unity for a race that matters more than the one around the Red Bull Ring. Max Verstappen had won the last 2 Austrian Grand Prix, but third time around he was the first out. The next retirement was Daniel Ricciardo.
Smoke coming out of the rear of that Renault.
A cooling issue crippling the Aussie's Renault.
So we had to retire before we did more damage. Yeah, shame obviously back, first race back, but yeah, it's a memory of what the sport can be like.
The more the race went on, the smaller the field became. No one was safe, with Sebastian Vettel spun around by the man replacing him next year at Ferrari.
They're going wheel to wheel, Leclerc's on the inside. Carlos Sainz will be his teammate next year and crashes into Sebastian Vettel this year.
The German couldn't avoid the mid-pack chaos as Kimi Räikkönen sent sparks flying.
It's broken already.
Once the safety car had cleared the track, there was fresh drama involving Lewis Hamilton.
Again, no, with Lewis Hamilton. He's lost out once more as it was in Brazil. He comes off second best. Bench by Lewis.
The defending champion received a 5-second penalty for the collision. Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas took the checkered flag ahead of Charles Leclerc, with Lando Norris benefiting from Hamilton's penalty to finish third and earn his first F1 podium. Brendan Shakes for 10 News First.
Newly crowned Premier League champion Liverpool maintained its perfect home record, beating relegation-threatened Aston Villa 2-0. A 19-year-old Merseyside local, Curtis Jones, who just signed a 5-year deal, sealed the win.
What a finish this is, and the audacity to even take this on. That is a fantastic goal.
Newcastle and West Ham drew 2-2. More golfers will be pumping iron and knocking back protein shakes after Bryson DeChambeau belted his way to a 3-shot victory at the Rocket Classic.
I wanted people to see a different play style of the game.
The American has put on 20 kilograms of bulk and has been in red-hot form with the driver, finishing 23 under. Indianapolis Motor Speedway has the narrowest pit road in NASCAR, so when there's a pile-up, even crew members are in the line of fire.
Steve mentioned 3,500-pound car pinched between 2 of them. And the amazing thing is he crawled out of there.
Ouch, Zach Price was the pit member pinned between 2 cars. He didn't seem fazed by the leg injury, giving a thumbs up on the gurney for paying the price and still managing a smile. He deserves our play of the day. And some Adelaide United news for you, Rebecca. Goalkeeper Isaac Richards, he's just left the club to pursue, of all things, a career in mixed martial arts.
Is it more money or?
I don't know, it's more aggressive and angry, whatever he's into.
Thank you, Max. We'll catch you later on. Stay with us. Kate has the latest weather next. And after 6, a code word that will give you the chance to share in thousands of dollars worth of Coles vouchers. There are 100 to be won. Plus, what prompted the once-in-a-generation overhaul of our recycling system.
Comedians Celia Pacquola and Luke McGregor are bringing the laughs next.
Never in the history of MasterChef has there been such a close race to the finals.
What do you have to do to win this thing?
I freaking loved it.
Absolutely magical. That blew my mind.
That was seriously good cooking.
The race to the finals begins tonight.
Dreaming of the finer things, South Australia? The MS Game Changer Lottery is your chance to get a millionaire makeover. And we've got 2 to give away. Yes, 2 lucky grand prize winners will become instant millionaires their way. So, will you choose the Metricon Home and Land package and build a home fit for a millionaire? Or pick the cash for a cool million in the bank? It's up to you. There's more. Give your next holiday a makeover with our new Super Early Bird prize. A trip for 2 around the world, flying business class, of course. Or take home $25,000 in cash. And our Early Bird winner, they'll drive away in a brand new BMW Z4. every ticket sold helps us make a life-changing difference for South Australians living with multiple sclerosis. So go on, with the best odds in the state to win big, which millionaire makeover would you choose? Get your tickets at msgamechanger.com.au.
Et voila, a perfume for the toilet.
Delightful. But there's a breath way.
Breath Deluxe, inspired by fine fragrances. It helps keep your toilet shiny and clean with a luxurious scent. New Breath Deluxe, our first perfume for your toilet.
There's only one thing to look for. Choose a super fund with this symbol.
We're all in this together.
It's time to rediscover the hills, extend your horizon and celebrate the reawakening of life at Mount Lofty House. Enjoy 2 nights of luxury for the price of one. Book now at mountloftyhouse.com.au.
Does anti-dandruff shampoo leave your hair dry? New Dove Dermacare Scalp is different. Tiffany used Dove on one side of her hair. The side with Dove is smooth. It fights dandruff and keeps hair smooth and nourished with no compromise. New Dove Dermacare Scalp.
See the latest trend-setting interior shaker doors. With solid panels, safe glass or mirror options, and we can install, you'll be spoilt for choice. Visit a showroom and book your free measuring quote. Doors Plus,
no fuss. Every life deserves to be celebrated with the highest standards and level of care. It's the decision to go with family that makes everything right. The Ivan Butler family, caring for generations since 1975.
Welcome to the Children's Hospital, where every year more than 20,000 boys and girls receive life-changing treatments.
It's the heartwarming new series, On 10.
I'm really brave. You are really brave. You're a superstar. It's rewarding, it's challenging. If in a day I've made a difference to one child, I'm going home happy.
The brand new series, The Children's Hospital, On 10. It premieres 7:30 Saturday.
The federal government today declared a war on waste, pledging almost $200 million to turbocharge recycling. It's aiming to prevent 10 million tonnes of rubbish from being dumped in landfill here or shipped off overseas.
A river of waste with nowhere to go. So the government is cleaning up its act.
It's our waste. It's our responsibility.
The Environment Minister today announced $190 million for the new Recycling Modernisation Fund, with hopes to turn the nation's waste into $1 billion industry.
And no longer are we going to see it as a problem to be solved or something to be dumped in a hole in the ground, but a resource, something that absolutely adds value.
Combined with industry and state money, the $600 million boost will help build recycling plants to collect, process and remake waste into new products and building materials, while creating 10,000 new high-vis jobs.
Some of those jobs are about things like cleaning up this plastic, flaking it, washing it, turning it into resin. Some of the jobs are actually at the manufacturing end, actually making the bottle, making the box.
It will also divert 10 million tonnes of waste destined for landfill or soon to be banned overseas exports.
Australia as a country, we need to take ownership of our own material. There is something not right for us to be sending our waste to Asian countries.
At the moment, only about 12% of Australian plastic gets recycled. It's hoped the investment will boost that, but industry says the government needs to do more to make sure recycled products are used in projects.
We need mandated amounts and definite projects that will use that recycled content so people can see that it works.
Sydney Pede for 10 News First.
Shaping up to be a cold week in Adelaide. Kate Freeman, what's on the way for us?
Yeah, Beck, the next few days are shaping up to be cold, but mostly sunny for a couple of days at least. But it's our nighttime temperatures that are looking very chilly. Tonight in some parts of South Australia, it'll drop below zero. And here at Henley Beach, since the sun went down, the temperature has plummeted as we head towards our low of just 5 degrees. Tonight's weather photo comes to us from the Eyre Peninsula at Coffin Bay. A humpback whale was beached at Frenchman Bluff and it's drawn quite a crowd of people stopping off for a look and to take photos. This shot was snapped by Brooke Turner. In Adelaide overnight, our low was 8 degrees and today was fairly cool. Our top was 15 degrees, currently 11 degrees in the city. Around the suburbs, it was slightly cooler today out north with a top of 14 degrees at Elizabeth. It reached 15 degrees in Glenelg, 13 degrees in Murray Bridge and down in Noarlunga, and only 10 degrees in Mount Barker. Across the state, it got down to just 1 degree overnight in Roxby Downs and Ceduna. And today there were a few showers in Woomera, but elsewhere it stayed dry. 18 was the top in Ceduna, 17 degrees in Coober Pedy. Maitland had a top of 14, and Whyalla was chilly, just 13 degrees. Today it got to 15 degrees in Renmark with cold conditions through the south. 14 degrees in Victor Harbour, Kingscote and Mount Gambier, 13 degrees in Port Lincoln and Narracourt, and just 12 degrees through the Barossa. Interstate overnight it was stormy in Perth with over 50,000 lightning strikes over the metro area. Today they reached 19 degrees. It got to 23 in Brisbane, 19 degrees in Sydney and only 13 degrees in Melbourne. On the satellite photo, most of the cloud over our state is sitting over the southeast. The rest of South Australia is clearing and that's thanks to a high that's dominating conditions over our state. That'll bring clear skies over the next few days, but it'll also bring a run of cold temperatures at night. Around the country tomorrow, mostly sunny in Brisbane and 23. Showers developing in Sydney with a top of 18 with light showers for Melbourne as well. And there's showers on the way for the west too in Perth. In South Australia, very cold overnight. It's dropping as low as -1 in Roxby Downs with frost predicted across the pastoral districts and the northern agricultural area. Tomorrow should reach 16 degrees in Coober Pedy and Port Augusta, 13 degrees in Maitland and 12 degrees in Clare. Further south, still very cold overnight, but not quite as icy as up north. Tomorrow should reach 14 degrees in Port Lincoln, Victor Harbour and Mount Gambier, 13 degrees on Kangaroo Island and 12 in Nooriutpa. On local waters, winds will be east to northeasterly at 5 to 10 knots with seas below half a metre. Around the suburbs, tomorrow should reach 14 degrees in Elizabeth and Glenelg, 15 degrees in Murray Bridge and 13's the top in Mount Barker and in Noarlunga. In Adelaide, it will drop to 5 degrees overnight, and then tomorrow should be partly cloudy but staying cool, heading for just 14 degrees as our top temperature. Looking ahead, the nights will be cold all week. During the day, Wednesday should be partly cloudy with a top of 14. Sunny and 16 degrees on Thursday, with showers arriving just in time for the weekend.
The man responsible for sickening toilet block attack on a defenceless child eligible for release in 2 years is how the public prosecutor considering an appeal. Growing unrest among Victoria's public housing tenants forced into isolation. And inspections underway on fresh produce at a Golden Grove shopping centre following the discovery of pins and needles inside food. A child sex offender who preyed on a 10-year-old girl at a Blair Athol toilet block has been sentenced to almost 5 years jail. But as Caroline O'Day explains, he could be free in less than half that time.
With time already served, Hamza Bahrami could walk free in less than 2 years. The judge described his offending as despicable and abhorrent, however found reason to apply the full 40% discount to his sentence for an early guilty plea, slashing it from 8 years. 33-year-old Bahrami preyed on an innocent 10-year-old girl at a Blair Athol playground in April last year. He began assaulting her on a swing before luring her into a toilet block. His sickening acts were also witnessed by his young child and niece who peered under the cubicle door. In handing down the head sentence of 4 years and 9 months, Judge Paul Slattery said, "I consider your offending to represent one of the most serious of its kind. You took immediate advantage of the victim's vulnerability." Bahrami has still offered no explanation for his offending. A small reduction was also applied to his sentence for the time he's likely to spend in protective custody. He's already been bashed in the watch house cells by bikie Bradley Danieli. Bahrami will be eligible for parole in less than 2 years. The DPP will consider appealing the sentence.
Thank you, Caroline. Court documents detail claims an Adelaide magistrate conspired with 3 women to commit deception to avoid losing his licence and to abuse his position of power. Kate Summers was in court.
Robert Harrop would ordinarily be sitting as a magistrate in court, but today he was seated in the public gallery as a defendant. The 61-year-old appeared in the Adelaide Magistrates Court for the first time since he was arrested last week following an investigation by the Independent Commission Against Corruption. Harrop's charged with 2 counts of deception. It's alleged in May he misrepresented who was driving his government vehicle when it committed traffic offences. He's also charged with the more serious charges of attempting to pervert the course of justice and conspiring to abuse his public office, relating to a matter that was heard by him in court in the same month. One of his co-accused, lawyer Catherine Morse, also faced court, charged with attempting to secure benefit as a public officer and attempting to pervert the course of justice. The 2 other women have been charged with deception but were not required to face court today. No allegations were revealed during the brief hearing, with the matter adjourned until July 27.
Thank you, Kate. Victoria's reached a new pandemic crisis point. The state's border with New South Wales is about to close, cutting it off from the rest of Australia. Natasha Exelby is at the Victoria-New South Wales border. But Tash, there's just been a significant development.
Yes, Beck, we've just learned that an investigation is now underway after 2 suspected COVID-19 positive tests have returned a positive in the preliminary testing. Of course, further testing does need to be underway, but that is 2 people in the Albury-Wodonga area. We understand one of those people had been in Melbourne and had been in the area where we had seen some of those outbreaks in those hotspots in the last week or so. This is trying under any circumstance, but Albury-Wodonga had been almost celebrating weeks of being COVID-free before this has happened, and it's just adding to the chaos that's happening on the border tonight with the announcement that the border is going to be closed here from midnight Tuesday night, the first time in more than a century that this border has ever closed. There are more than 50,000 people that go across this border every single day. Many of them, it is for work. It's going to be an almighty effort for the police who are going to manage this. The border stretches across 55 roads, 33 bridges and 2 waterways, and that's coming into effect from midnight tomorrow night. Beck.
Thank you, Tash. Thousands of Melbourne public housing residents are about to spend their 3rd night in lockdown, some claiming they're receiving substandard food and supplies. More than 50 residents across 2 estates have now tested positive.
3,000 people desperate to get out. Only one found a way, but not the way he planned. Police caught him trying to breach the lockdown, but he chose to fight rather than back down.
That male bit one of the members, and so he was taken into custody.
Another at North Melbourne was escorted back after a short taste of freedom.
And then when you go downstairs, the officers are not even asking you, hey mate, is everything good? Do you need anything? Do you guys need help? They're telling you, go back up mate, or else you'll be arrested.
Residents across 9 public housing towers endured a 2nd day of mandatory quarantine. Some were left without food for 2 days. When it did arrive, it looked like this. In some cases, no one knocked. Residents just found the food later, warm and unappetising.
Some of the care packages had expired food in it, food that's been 1 year old, food that expired 2 months ago. It just wasn't edible.
A sign in one window reflects the feelings of many inside, calling the Premier Dictator Dan. There are speakers outside everyone's door, occasionally issuing orders.
The more people who get tested, the quicker we can release you from your homes.
3,000 meals and 500 hampers have been distributed to residents. They were distributed yesterday.
That we have put an enormous amount of work into ensuring that we get to all of our residents.
Jade Kotick for 10 News First.
Well, the Victoria-New South Wales border closure is being watched closely here. Chloe Burris joins us live. Chloe, what does it mean for us?
Well, the Premier says it will give a lot of comfort to the Transition Committee when it meets tomorrow to discuss the state's border arrangements. They've been very worried about lifting SA's border restrictions to New South Wales and the ACT because even though they've been performing well, they've had a porous border with Victoria, meaning there's very easy access between them and opportunities to sneak into SA. At this stage, there's actually no date set for when we will open our borders to any jurisdiction we haven't already. The July 20 date was scrapped altogether because of the situation in Victoria, and there are concerns about moving too soon.
We will be looking at the ACT and New South Wales separately. They continue to have very, very low numbers, and the vast majority of all the numbers now in New South Wales are just returning overseas travellers. So a very, very different position from what we see in Victoria.
It seems to be an enormous risk for a benefit that no one can really quantify. I mean, trucks are still making their way across the borders. We're still trading with the other states. There doesn't really seem to be an economic imperative.
The Transition Committee will be watching very carefully to see if there's a rush of Victorians trying to get into New South Wales before the border shuts. That could play a factor in setting the date for reopening here.
Thank you, Chloe. Police are trying to work out who's responsible for putting needles and pins in fruit and bread sold at a northern suburb supermarket. Cam Inglis, what action's been taken?
Well, Beck, police have launched an investigation into the food contamination here at the Woolworths inside the Golden Grove shopping centre. Police say the matter is deliberate and are treating it very seriously. They've launched this investigation in conjunction with Woolworths staff. Now, of course, this all happened after one person reported that they found a metal pin hidden inside a punnet of strawberries. Another found a metal pin inside an avocado, while a third found metal thumbtacks inside a loaf of bread. Now, Woolworths have started to open up and check stock linked to the contaminated batches and have found no other items have been tampered with. They say they have no major safety concerns, but it's not known if any other people purchased contaminated goods. Now, we did speak to some customers earlier who said that they were shocked to hear the news and will be going over their items with a fine-toothed comb. Now, police are urging anyone with any information to come forward.
Thank you, Cam. A bus driver was forced to quickly pull over after a passenger became violent at Underdale this afternoon. Just after 3:30, Transport Security and police were called to Holbrooks Road, where they found the man. Police say the 29-year-old was arrested for disorderly behaviour and has been taken to the City Watch House. The incident just days before the Transport Workers Union is due to hold a bus safety summit after a rise in violence on public transport. A southern suburbs barber has been left devastated after his store was torched in an arson attack overnight. Police say the Port Noarlunga barber shop was deliberately set alight around 4 this morning. The owner is a single father who relies on the business to support his family.
Me cutting hair puts food on the table and pays the bills. And if, I can't do that, then what is there? So I need to get it back up and running.
4 other businesses on the same street were damaged by the smoke. Better known as the Queen of the Skies, Qantas's famous 747s will be given a final send-off next week. The Jumbos are being retired after almost 50 years in service, and aviation enthusiasts are being offered the chance for one last flight into Sydney, Brisbane and Canberra next week. But as they get set to wind down, the airline is picking up by offering a nationwide sale, with some fares cut by almost half.
Well, it's a necessary move to have some good prices in the market to at least encourage people. I think there are a lot of people who are ready to fly already, particularly younger people.
Meantime, Virgin's takeover may have hit a snag. Bondholders owed more than $2 billion have asked the federal government to intervene, claiming its bid was blocked by administrators. Up next, a drug cartel's plane meets its demise. And parts of Japan bracing for more floods and landslides as torrential rain continues.
Say it ain't so. Poe eliminated from MasterChef. Join us as we relive the chef's emotional rollercoaster of an elimination. What's next?
Yes, you've got where to go to, but you have got the answer. So head into the bathroom, get Demazin.
When cold and flu strikes, Demazin gets it done.
Try Glen 20 All-in-One. It kills up to 30 germs to keep your home and family healthy. Glen 20 All-in-One. Now also tested and shown effective against the COVID-19 coronavirus.
Entertaining this weekend? Control the seasons and live life your way with Louver House. Order this month and receive LED lighting absolutely free. But hurry, this offer won't last. Louver House.
When life gives you kiddiness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. Hoover Robot Vacuum, $499. Save $100. Award-winning Wurtime Evolution Stick Vacuum, $799. Godfrey's cleanliness.
Hot Milo. None of that crunchy stuff on top, thank you. Just smooth and hot. The way us Hot Milo drinkers like it. What side are you on?
Domino's $5 pizzas are incredible value. They're made with fresh dough and vine-ripened tomato sauce, topped with stretchy and tastier mozzarella, and served with total peace of mind, thanks to zero contact pickup from Domino's.
The Hospital Research Home Lottery has sold out early once again. Thank you, South Australia, for your incredible support. On July 29th, there will be 13,000 winners, and 2 of them will be instant millionaires. Proceeds from our home lottery improve the lives of every South Australian. At the Hospital Research Foundation, we believe everyone deserves someone fighting for their health. And with your ticket purchase, you fight with us. Best of luck to everyone in the draws.
The problem with stubble? Irritation and itchiness. New Nivea Men Sensitive Skin and Stubble Balm. Instant relief from irritation and beard itch. From the Nivea Men Sensitive range. Nivea Men. It starts with you.
At Drake Supermarkets, we've got all the ingredients for the pet days and the wet days. The roast days and the smashed avo on toast days. Ingredients for the tradie days and the lady days, the Mondays, the run days, and the let's have some fun days. We've got all the ingredients for you, no matter what the day. Drake Supermarkets.
Ingredients for every day. Oh, it's Brittany!
That chick from Badger City.
Yeah, she's
so hot.
Tim in no way is my type. Never ever have I dated anybody like him.
Brittany's so well-spoken. Those eyes, like, oof.
He really took me by surprise. Something about him that I want to get to know more.
I might be in trouble.
Bachelor in Paradise starts Wednesday, July 15.
Britain's royal family has led nationwide celebrations marking the 72nd anniversary of the National Health Service. William and Kate met with staff and volunteers at a hospital that's treated hundreds of coronavirus patients, while English Premier League stars cheered on frontline workers in the country's newly reopened stadiums.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for what you have done. More than I can possibly say.
The UK's former chief scientific advisor is warning the virus could kill almost 30,000 more people by next April under Britain's current reopening plan. Nearly 40 people are now feared dead after days of flooding and landslides across southwestern Japan. At least 14 of the victims are residents of a nursing home that was inundated when a nearby river broke its banks. Multiple states in Mexico have been forced back into lockdown only a week after restrictions began to ease. The country has now recorded more than 30,000 COVID deaths, overtaking France to become the 5th highest in the world. Still in Mexico, and a drug cartel plane has burst into flames after making an emergency landing on a highway. The military says the smugglers torched the aircraft shortly after it was intercepted by soldiers. Almost 400 kilos of cocaine was reportedly found inside a nearby truck. Max is back. Now, the Premier's weighed into the Crows camp.
He has. Stephen Marshall, he says the state's workplace health and safety regulator could still investigate what went on back in 2018. The current squad, they have returned from their more recent Queensland trip, and tomorrow we'll be back training at Westlakes for the first time in weeks.
A smooth landing on return from a trip that was anything but for Adelaide. As they were when they left, the Crows are still winless, but the loss to the Dockers hurt the most.
Yeah, it probably stung the loss yesterday in particular because I felt like we played really well and did what we wanted to do in terms of our contest work, and a lot of stuff we've been working on, but we just couldn't execute going forward.
That's where Tyson Stengel steps in. The small forward is free to play after serving a club-imposed 4-match ban for drink driving.
Big chance to come back in. He's been playing really well in the scratch matches. I can't see why not. He'd definitely be in the mix for this week, and he could add a lot of flair up forward and a lot of that goal-kicking finesse as well.
The Crows' 2018 trip to the Gold Coast continues to haunt the club amid fresh claims of verbal abuse and broken trust.
I sort of just glance over those stories, but it's interesting it's still hanging around. But we've obviously got a new coach, new footy department, a lot of new players. I feel like we've moved on well and truly from that.
Adelaide and Port flew back together last night, and the rivals will share a plane again for this weekend's round 6 fixtures. The Power face the Giants, who beat the Hawks by 34 points.
Munford bullied his way, got rid of McAvoy, got foot to ball, and don't they love the big mummy kicking a goal?
Josh Money for 10 News First.
Victoria's AFL clubs have migrated north at short notice to New South Wales and Queensland, with the last 4 teams jetting off today. Tim Morgan has followed those that headed to Sydney and has more on how they're settling in.
A strange thing to be saying, but welcome to one of the new homes of football. We have 5 teams based here in Sydney and Wollongong, 4 of them Victorian teams, and it's the Gold Coast down on the Gong. So at least for the next week, this really is going to be one of the hubs of the AFL landscape. So how did day one look? Well, for a couple of teams, it meant heading down to the beach. Both the Hawks and the D's at their new respective homes managed to get a bit of surf and sun in as they look to recover from a couple of losses. The Hawks, they're based at Coogee, while for Melbourne, they're at Manly. And as I mentioned, they'll be there for the foreseeable future and will hopefully get some better results than they both did yesterday afternoon. Now, while it does look like it was all fun in the sun, officials were working very hard today to nut out exactly what the rest of the time will look like. Most of the clubs don't even have training venues locked in. They don't know where they'll be able to go use the gym. While for the Saints up on the Gold Coast, they're working out exactly what they'll do on the bus down from Noosa. So there is still plenty to be worked out, as Brett Ratton says here.
To go to the Gold Coast is 2 hours 45 on the bus, and we can't get off the bus because of the quarantine restrictions. So, they're just little challenges that we get to, we get to play a bit of music and have some chats. We might be able to do the pre-game meeting on the bus.
So these are quickly changing times and everyone is having to work on the run, but given the developments in Victoria today with the borders, they certainly got out just in the nick of time.
Thanks, Timmy. Anthony Drimmick is bound for the Brisbane Bullets when the NBL's free agency period opens. He spent 4 seasons in Adelaide under former 36ers coach Joey Wright. 10 News First understands Drimmick wasn't offered a new contract. Wright says the 28-year-old will benefit the Bullets.
As far as I know, he is going to the Bullets. He was out here earlier today, and he did a really good job working with the kids and with the offense they run. He'll be able to space the court for sure. He's always been a great defensive player.
Wright was back coaching at a kids' clinic today, returning to Findon for the first time since departing the 36ers. No hot start to the F1 season for Daniel Ricciardo, with a cooling issue forcing his early exit at the Austrian Grand Prix. The Aussie lasted just 17 laps before retiring the Renault as a precaution. 9 of the 20 drivers didn't even finish the race. Adding to the carnage, Lewis Hamilton was bumped from the podium, copping a 5-second penalty for contact.
And again, no, with Lewis Hamilton! Fence by Lewis.
Valtteri Bottas won ahead of Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, who picked up his first F1 podium.
Well, if ever you're going to break your Premier League duck, do it like that. Shea Adams.
The long-range strike was enough to shock last season's champions Manchester City 1-0. At Anfield, newly crowned champs Liverpool received a guard of honour from the Aston Villa players. The Reds struck twice in the second half to win 2-0. And that is all of your Monday sport, Beck.
Thank you, Max. A freezing night is on the way. Kate Freeman has all of your weather details coming up next.
You are the top 5 for 2020.
Never in the history of MasterChef has there been such a close race to the finals.
What do you have to do to win this thing?
Let the Hunger Games begin.
Absolutely magical.
I freaking loved it.
That blew my mind.
The bar is extremely high at this point in the game. That was some seriously good cooking.
The race to the finals begins tonight.
Aldi's tender porterhouse steak is so tender you can cut it with a butter knife. Made of butter. Now only $19.99 per kilo at Aldi. Good. Different.
Vinny, food scraps, which bin?
Compostable bag, green bean mate. Everybody knows that, right?
Until I checked the Which Bin website, Vinny had been putting some of our food scraps in the waste bin. Ba-bow! I mean, as every bin ninja knows, you put your food scraps in the green bin. Or you build a compost and give your garden a boost.
Don't be too hard on yourself. You have to swim before you talk.
Treat yourself to a smooth, delicious barista-made McCafe coffee and we could treat you to a free coffee every day for a year. Drive through and buy any McCafe drink and go in the running to be your local McCafe winner.
Right now, Fairmont are offering better value than ever. Build today and for no extra cost, receive 2.7 high ceilings, bathroom and kitchen upgrades, plus free air. So get more than you ever imagined. It's affordable at Fairmont.
Light up their afternoons with the awesomeness of puffed rice.
Fast track your weight loss success and improve your health with Jumpstart by Light and Easy.
Within those first couple of weeks, I noticed a difference within myself.
I found results straight away, and for me, Light and Easy has been life-changing.
Jumpstart your health and weight loss goals today, and you could be jumping for joy because we're giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000. To jumpstart your success and go into the draw, visit lightandeasy.com.au or call 13 15 12 today.
I've been with Burns for a long time, and these are the most amazing prices I've seen.
Prices smashed! All indoor blinds, all outdoor blinds.
We've dropped prices big time.
Prices absolutely smashed.
Once a year prices. Indoor blinds, outdoor blinds, cafe blinds, roller shutters and security doors. Even curtains. The prices are ridiculous, and right now you get free installation.
Prices absolutely smashed, and if you want free installation...
Better phone Burns for Blinds now.
At Devondale, we believe great milk comes from cows that graze free.
Coles is giving away thousands in vouchers. To enter, grab tonight's code word and head to 10 Play Win. Keep watching for more chances to win.
Up next, inside Australia's toughest response yet. Was the forced hard lockdown of housing blocks the right call? Comedians Luke McGregor and Celia Piccola are here to chat about their comeback to your screens.
It's going to be great.
And turns out Australia wasn't prepared for Poe's elimination from the MasterChef kitchen. We find out where it all went wrong. The project next.
Rug up for a chilly night across South Australia. Kate Freeman, how is the forecast looking for us this week?
Beck, I know you're back from a beautiful holiday in the Flinders Ranges, and I'll tell you what, you should be glad you're not there tonight because it will be absolutely freezing with temperatures dropping below zero north of Adelaide. Comparatively not quite as cold here in the city, but still pretty chilly, and it's the start of a run of very cold nights all week. Tonight's weather photo was taken this morning. Craig Chamberlain was at the airport and he snapped the sunrise glow over the quiet tarmac. In Adelaide, our low was 8 degrees and today it stayed fairly cool with a top of 15 degrees coming at midday, and currently it's 10 in the city. On the satellite photo, most of the cloud over our state is just over the southeast. The rest of South Australia is clearing, and that's thanks to a high that's dominating conditions over our state. And that'll bring clear skies over the next few days and a run of cold temperatures at night. Around the country tomorrow, mostly sunny for Brisbane, with showers developing in Sydney, Melbourne, and wet weather in Perth too. In South Australia, very cold overnight, dropping as low as -1 in Roxby Downs, with frost predicted across the pastoral districts and the northern agricultural area. Tomorrow should reach 18 degrees in Ceduna, 16 degrees in Port Augusta, and 12's the top for the Clare Valley. Further south, still very cold overnight, but not quite as icy as up north. Tomorrow should reach 14 degrees in Port Lincoln, Victor Harbour, Narracourt and Keith, and 12 degrees in the Barossa. On local waters, winds will be east to northeasterly at 5 to 10 knots, with seas staying below half a metre. Around the suburbs, tomorrow should reach 14 degrees in Elizabeth and Glenelg, 15's the top out at Murray Bridge, and 13 degrees in the hills and down south. In Adelaide, it's dropping to 5 degrees overnight. Then tomorrow's looking partly cloudy and cold. We're heading for a top of 14. Looking ahead, the nights will stay cold all week. During the day, Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a top of 14 degrees, sunny and 16 degrees on Thursday before the showers return on Friday, and it's looking like a wet weekend. We're expecting somewhere between 5 and 15 millimetres on Friday and Saturday. Beckett, truly is the middle of winter.
Yeah, that's no good. Thank you, Kate. That's Adelaide's 10 News First for now. Thanks for joining us. Stay with us. The project's up next. Enjoy your evening. Stay warm. Good night.